Back with the Get Out Deck Guy. I am Steve Rode, the old, authentic Get Out Deck Guy. And, if you have debt and you have a phone, you probably recognize this particular problem. Because every time you open TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, there's another secret program. Is that right, Damon? Say hey.
What's going on, everyone?
There seems to be always another government-backed relief program or some guy in a rented Lamborghini telling you he's found a loophole the banks don't want you to know about. Today, we're going to be pulling back the curtain on the hidden traps and debt relief that you're seeing right now. And we're going to fill you in on how easy it is to manipulate you to screw over your future for the profit of someone else. We're going to talk about TV ads, radio spots, the perfect TikTok ad, and, those click here to erase 80% of your debt ads that you see, and why they're chasing you around the internet. We'll also show you exactly which emotional buttons are pushed to get you to react. And the important thing about this is we need to let you know so that when you see these ads, you'll be able to go, oh, that is reason number 2 why I feel compelled that I must click on this ad. Now you'll know. Reason number 9, which I think is really relevant and important, I'm going to have to move up my list here, Damon, because I think it's really important based on some recent podcasts that we've done. So we're going to walk you through the fake government programs, the illegal upfront fees, the phony deadlines, the phony monthly payments, and why social media influencers say you can pay off $80,000 of debt in 6 months and not have any pain about it. By the end of the episode, you'll be able to look at a debt relief ad or a TikTok guru and instantly say, oh, I see what you're doing. And there's a bigger promise because you'll learn how legitimate options and non-secret loopholes can really help you get out of debt. Damon, you and I have seen these ads for decades. Are you seeing them more often than I am?
Oh, man. And you said something earlier. It's always a secret the banks don't want you to know, like every time.
Yeah, I think well, go ahead.
And I mean, you said, if you're in debt, even if you're not in debt, these ads are, following you around. I mean, but we've been seeing these things for over 20 years, and the ads themselves haven't changed that much. They just keep going on to new platforms. Oh, Facebook's popular. Now they're on Facebook, and then TikTok and Instagram and all. And it's like I was telling you the other day, yesterday, I don't remember what, I think I was on. Oh, I was on YouTube. And Mario Lopez pops up.
He's
hawking debt relief. And I'm like,
what?
Mario, say it ain't so.
Well, I sent you a picture of an ad that I saw while I was traveling this past weekend, and it was a picture of a guy with all these face tattoos and promising some sort of incredible debt relief. And the funny thing about it was actually an ad from Forbes, which I always associated with, the magazine that was doing incredible business work. And apparently now they're doing lead generation, because after I sent that picture to you, I actually clicked on the ad and it went to...
Well, I saw the Forbes. Yeah.
Well, it went to Forbes
on it.
And it was a lead gen form. You had to fill it out before you ever figured out, who am I giving my information to?
Hey, we all got to make money, Steve.
Nobody makes money till something gets sold.
Hey, newspapers don't pay like they used to.
No, that's true. That's true. So hopefully, if you're watching us on YouTube, you're seeing a video podcast. And if you're listening to us on all the other platforms that we're on, no video. I don't know if that's good or bad for you.
Well, ironically, if we are on YouTube, because of the subject we're talking about, Mario may pop up at some point.
Yeah.
Hawking a debt relief. We didn't endorse that.
So
we don't control the ads.
Yeah, I say get YouTube Premium. I really like that. All right, there are a number of reasons why debt relief marketing, whether it's on YouTube or any other platform, is so insidious because it works, because there are a certain emotional buttons that can be pushed to get you to react. Now, a moment ago, Damon, you mentioned it's the same crap, different day. And it's so true because in my lifetime in debt relief, originally we started out with print ads about the President Bush amazing debt relief program. And then, we moved more towards the digital area, and then it became the Obama program, and then the Trump program, and then it's just been what?
And then Biden.
The Biden program.
And then now Trump's got a new program because he's back.
So, but it's number 9 on my list, but I think I want to talk about first because not that long ago,
it's number 1.
And that's number 1. Not that long ago, we did a podcast about Dave Ramsey, and it resonated with some people. But Ramsey, I'm going to tell you this, and then I think if you're not a fanboy, you will recognize how he manipulates you. Because one of the top 10 ways to manipulate you into debt relief is number 9, which is shame-based messaging. Now, let me know if any of this sounds familiar, Damon. This is how it sounds, okay? You signed for it. You have a moral obligation to pay every penny, no matter how long it takes. Real adults don't file bankruptcy. They hustle harder. Does that sound on message there?
That does. You could get hired.
Yeah. Well, so here's why it sells. So that is what is happening. That is what people are being told. And here's what it sells. Shame keeps people from exploring legal, rational options like bankruptcy, which might actually free up their life in retirement. And if a guru can keep you stuck in shame, they can sell you years of systems and budgets and coaching instead of a one decisive fix.
Well, and it's not just Dave Ramsey.
No.
It's banks use the shame. The whole system uses shame and the credit score to just keep you slaving away. All the debt relief programs use it, right? Oh, you don't want to file bankruptcy. That's going to ruin your credit for 10 years. And this way you could at least pay back some of it. And everybody uses shame to convince you to keep slaving away at this debt or enroll in their program to cut it in half or whatever it is. Everything is designed to keep you away from looking at any other option that isn't what the person on the phone or the TV or the TikTok video, whatever they're selling is the right thing and everything else is the wrong thing.
Well,
that's universal in all the ads.
Here's what gets me about number 9, the shame-based messaging, is this moral sales pitch that causes people to question themselves and to avoid logical math-based solutions based on how they think other people will think about them or how they're afraid of what they're going to think about themselves. So you've watched more of Ramsey than I have. I've given up at this point.
But I actually like his show.
Yeah, but I just don't like the yelling at people, and because there have been plenty of examples of that.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with a lot of his results or responses to the callers, but it's an interesting show for sure. He puts on a good show, Steve.
Yeah, it puts on a good show. It's all that targeted marketing. So fear and threat. Now that's another emotional hot button that causes people to make bad decisions. So here's what happens. You're in debt and you're feeling lost, alone, afraid, confused, ashamed, depressed. And that is not the time for you to go, hey, I want to go learn how to reinvent the wheel. Instead, it's natural and it's human for people to say, hey, I want this pain to go away. And so what they latch onto is the first message that sounds magical. And as you've said in the past, Damon, They're selling you magic beanstalk letters that make things, feel like they're
Yeah.
going to automatically disappear. And so one of the sales pitches they can use, shame-based marketing, really, that just pisses me off. But this one irritates me as well because I've seen it over the years, is the fear and threat marketing pitch, where they say they fill in whatever blank debt relief
Whoever.
program. If you don't act today, your wages could be garnished, or you could be subject to legal action, or your file is being reviewed for escalation. And these are already geared towards people who are already in debt and fearful and don't know exactly what the right score is. And so these legal threats can cause people to take action, which is not good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I have actually recently had a few clients come on board where it was like, talk about like, out of the pan into the fire kind of scenarios where they're, when I do an initial phone call, I always ask them to kind of paint me a picture. What's going on? What's your situation? What are you dealing with? What are you hoping to learn from me?
Mm-hmm.
And in the last 2 months, I've had like 3 or 4 where it was like, well, I was, in this debt and da 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 da. And then, I got this consolidation loan and and I was still falling behind on that. And that wasn't working. So then this one company called me and that sounded pretty good. And I got into that. But then I started researching it some more. And then I realized, oh, that's not what I thought it was. So then I canceled that and I got into this other one that was talking to me. And then it was,
Promise me
the same
better.
thing. And now, yeah. And it's just like, one after, but the common theme was they were just stressed out
Yeah.
about the debt and they couldn't afford it anymore and they didn't know what to do. And so this organization was kind of like offering this lifeline, even though I guess the lifeline wasn't tied to anything
Yeah.
solid. So you're
Yeah.
just pulling on the rope and it was just coming in.
It was made of lead.
But yeah, but it was just like, these salespeople just get you on the phone and they're good at telling you what you want to hear. And it's always about, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lower your payments, you're gonna hire us, we're gonna handle everything. And they're long on promises, but they're short on specifics. And the biggest thing is they never focus on what your other options are.
Right.
It's always
Their
just
widget's
sign the
better.
contract right away.
Yep.
Sign it right away. Like they don't want you to research it. They don't want you to sleep on it. They really want you to sign it, right on the phone if they can get you to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Anything that you're going to do, you have time. There's no lawsuit right around the corner in most cases. Just kind of ignore most of that stuff. If you think you want to enroll in some program or get some help, you always have time to take a step back and think about it. And if they're trying to pressure you away from that,
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason, and the reason is not for your benefit.
No, and there are 2 important reasons here. One is that 99% of the time, except when you're talking to like Damon for advice and you're talking to Damon, 99% of
That seemed biased. That's
no,
very
I mean,
biased.
that's true. Because 99% of the time, whoever you're talking to is a commissioned salesperson. And their goal is not to give you sound financial advice. Their goal is to sell you whatever widget that they're trying to sell. Now, here is a key point. If you want to cut this right to the chase and you want to find out what their intentions are, when they're pitching you some program, ask them if you can have a copy of the client contract so that you can review it. They will do everything to prevent you from seeing that. And they'll flat out say no.
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, that's a warning sign. It used to be, back in the day, you could find contracts, the company contracts online, but then they all went away. And so I've actually had people, when I've done secret shopper calls and I've asked, hey, sounds great, man. Let me look at the contract. I want to look it over. No. And
Yeah.
so anybody tells you that, that's a quick hang up. Now, here's another one. The relief fantasy. You will erase 75 to 85% of your debt if you sign up today. With one simple call, one simple form fill, you can be out of debt in a fraction of time for less than you owe. But people are listening to what the promised relief is, not what the facts are, not how many people actually get that relief, but that is just a sales message. And one of the ways that we've seen that unfold over the years, Damon, is when some consumer's on the phone with one of these companies, and the company goes, your payment is going to be $800 a month. And the person says, I can't afford that. And the company says, Damon, what does the company say?
Oh, well, hold on a second. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Well, we can look at this. And if we do this, well, what about 725? I think we can get this done for 725
Oh,
for you.
no, I can afford 700. That's the most I could afford.
You know what? Hold on. Because you're my favorite customer. Hold on. You know what? Hold on. I got to talk to my manager. I'll be right back.
You got a car to sell me to?
Yeah. You know what? Okay. For you, if you want to get this done today, I think we can do it for 700 a month. I think we can get that done for you. It's going to be more work, but I think we can get it done.
And people fall for it. All right. We already.
Well, and it's not even so much falling for it as much as it is. I mean, people just don't feel like they have a way out.
Yeah. And they don't have a frame of reference either.
They're getting bombarded with all this messaging, and it's all kind of going to the same place. So they end up calling on these different ads, because they're drowning in this debt. And all these companies are most of these ads that you see promising cut your debt. It's all debt settlement companies. Let's just be clear about that. I mean, once in a while,
and there is no monthly
credit
payment.
counseling program. Well, yeah, the monthly pay, there's so much we can unpack out of that. But the thing is, you'll start calling all these different companies, and you'll start noticing that common theme. And so you just kind of assume, well, this got to be all legit because all these companies are essentially promising the same thing. And then you just kind of get into this, well, I'm just going to find the guy that's got the lowest monthly payment mode and has got some good reviews. And then you end up signing up in that program because the guy sounded the best. And there's a whole bunch we can unpack about how debt settlement companies operate. But, earlier I said, Steve, what he was saying about me being non-commissioned is, sounding really biased. But in that vein, I'm going to be very biased because it's just so, I mean, I don't know what the right word is, but here's my own.
The right word is true.
If you have debt and you're seeing these ads and you're calling these companies, and by all means call them. What you'll find about me is I'm all about getting all the information so you can make a good decision. Versus these salespeople you're talking to don't want you to make calls to other people. I'm all for it. The more salespeople you call, the better I look anyway. But here's my offer. I don't charge a fee for the initial consultations anyway. So if you're looking at some of these ads, you're calling these companies, you're maybe thinking about it, you're not sure if you should do it or not. You've called 5 or 6 of them. They all kind of sound the same, but a little bit different. Just set up an appointment with me. I don't charge anything. And say, hey, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about this company, thinking about this company, thinking about this company. I'll tell you what they are and what they're doing. And then you can decide if it's something that's right for you. But I promise you, when I explain to you what's happening, you'll go, that's not exactly what the sales guy said. Maybe I should take a step back. But I don't charge for that. You can just have a conversation with me. That's it.
Yeah, you can reach Damon at damonday.com, DAMONDAY.com. Now, here's something even a little bit more insidious. If you know anything about digital marketing, then you will know about remarketing. So if a consumer clicks on the debt relief company's ad, goes to the
it's over.
Goes to the site, they're being tracked at that point. And so if they don't respond within a certain period of time, whether it's days or weeks or whatever, it can trigger a remarketing ad, and the next ad will have an even bigger promise, right? And then an even bigger promise.
Yeah.
So you will start to see, it's funny, the number of people I've talked to over the years who say, I don't know how they found out about me, but all of a sudden I'm getting all these debt relief ads. It's because you clicked on one of them.
Yeah, and then that gets disseminated amongst the lead generators and all that, and then all of a sudden everybody has your name.
Yeah.
Your phone's blowing up.
Or you clicked
messages every single day.
You clicked on one on Facebook or, TikTok or something. Now they know what your intention is. And so now you're going to get just hammered with these things.
Yeah. And my favorite is, maybe you're in a situation where you've applied for several consolidation loans legit outfits and been denied because your utilization ratio or your credit score or whatever. And then all of a sudden, after you get denied for consolidation loans, your phone's blowing up and leaving voicemails of this great consolidation loan. You only got 3 days. You got to call us back and
Yeah.
da 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 da. And all these people now calling you for these great consolidation loans are just debt settlement companies.
Yeah.
They're offering you a fake consolidation loan. It doesn't exist. You call them up, they take your information, they go smoke a cigarette, they come back and say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for the consolidation loan, but I've got a better program for you. And then they just pitch you the debt settlement, which was what they were going to do the entire time, but it's just bait and switch marketing. That's all it is, because they know you want this fantasy consolidation loan where you're going to take your 50 grand in debt that you're paying 25%, and some benevolent billionaire is going to fund, oh, here's 50 grand at 5%.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's what's on their ads.
Just for you.
Yeah. We can loan you $80,000 at 5%. No, you won't.
Right.
No, you won't. It doesn't exist. But it gets you to call.
Right.
And then now they have you on the phone and they build it up like, oh, we're going to check for you. And you kind of like have a little hope. And then they knock you down. And then you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? They just deny me. But I've got a better program for you. And then you're like, what? And now you're just set up to fall for whatever it is, because you just went from a little hope to a low, and now there's some hope again, right? And you just want to grab onto that, as you've said, that lifeline made of lead.
Well, one of the things you might hear is they might say, your creditors are going to settle for X%. There is no across-the-board settlement percentage. And if anybody is telling you that,
there isn't.
You need to ask more questions, because every creditor is a separate negotiation. And if they're telling you, if you call and you say, hey, I just spoke to X debt settlement company and they said my payment's $700, and they go, oh, I'm glad you called because your payment here is $600. Or they tell you, they said they could settle it for 75% off, and the guy says, we can settle it for 80% off. Those are all made up fictitious numbers.
Yeah. It comes down to this: forgiveness versus permission. A sales guy can tell you anything he wants to make the sale. Why? Because if he doesn't make the sale, none of it matters anyway. If he makes the sale, at least now he has a chance to make the commission. And then when you find out later that he was lying his ass off, that's where the forgiveness part comes in. Or maybe you misheard it, and you're never going to talk to that salesman again anyway. You're going to be talking to some account manager 6 months later, and they're going to tell you that, well, maybe you're misremembering what he said. Maybe he didn't say it quite like that.
Yeah, there's a very important twist here that a lot of people don't get. The salesperson can lie their ass off to you. Right now you're going, what? Yes, they can lie their ass off. They can tell you whatever they want to tell you, because the minute you sign that client agreement will say in there that none of the verbal representations that you were made before signing this agreement apply. And this agreement...
Yeah, nobody reads those.
No, and this agreement is binding for everything that we do. Yeah. And yet you're being rushed through that and not allowed to see
it. It's like 25 pages.
Yeah.
It's like 20. And they're like, flip here, flip to page 5, put an X there, put your initials there, do this, do that. It's like a mortgage. They come out with a stack of papers like this. Do you want to read it? No, I don't. Okay, we'll just sign here. Flip. You know how they sit across the table and it's all marked so they know. Flip to this. Okay, sign here. Okay, this just says that you really like this house. Sign here.
Yeah.
Okay, this says that you're fine with everything. We looked at. Okay, sign here. That's kind of how they do it. And then, you got 3 days to take it home and read it over and let us know.
It's too much legalese. Now, another tactic that debt relief companies will use too is they may send a notary to your house to get you to sign the client agreement. Now, that sounds like this is going to be an in-person presentation. The reason they're doing it is because there's a loophole on advanced fees for doing it. But when that person shows up at your house and you start to ask them questions about the program, what you will hear is, I don't know. I'm an independent person they hired to come by and have you sign these papers. I don't know anything about the program.
They might as well have sent an Uber driver.
Yeah.
Could have done the same thing.
Would have been better and cheaper, by the way. All right.
Yeah, they could have got an Uber guy to do it for like $5 going 15 miles.
That's a different show.
Penny stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Visit the Penny Stupid channel on YouTube and you'll find out what that's all about. All right. The Instagram guru. So, some person in a rented Airbnb beautiful kitchen with a rented car out front is going to tell you, I used to be 80 grand in debt, but I'm free now because I found this one script or this one letter, or as I mentioned earlier, Damon's magic beanstalk letters. So, Damon, can you explain where that magic beanstalk comes from?
That's always a secret somebody doesn't want you to know.
Right.
Yeah, the phrase magic beanstalk letters that I've used for years and always gets a laugh from Steve. But that comes from
So true.
they go by different names now, but it's basically these debt validation companies where essentially it's the new twist on debt settlement. I say new, but they've actually been around for almost 15 years now,
Longer,
maybe
yeah.
20 years. But essentially their pitch is, hey, look, we will get rid of all of your debt. They can make up whatever reason they want to make up that the debt doesn't really exist, it's not valid. But they're gonna send these letters to the banks pointing out different statutes, different code, whatever it is,
And the
whatever
bank's going to
sales guy
go,
wants to say.
my fault.
Yeah, and the bank is gonna quiver at the mere thought of these letters.
They're going to quiver from laughing.
And the debt is going to magically disappear when we send these special letters. That's where the magic beanstalk letters come in. They have these magic beanstalk letters and the debt will go away. And my favorite part about the scam is the company itself will typically charge you 30 to 50% of your actual debt. So if you have $100,000 in debt, with a straight face, they're going to try to charge you 30 to 50 grand. And they'll spread it out over like 4 or 5 years, of course, to be nice, for the promise that all of your debt will get wiped out. But you're going to still have to pay them 30 to 50% of it. If you had 30 to 50% or could come up with $30 to $50,000, why not just negotiate with the banks where you know it will actually be gone, rather than taking some sales guy's word for it that the magic beanstalk letters are going to make the banks quiver and go away? What's actually going to happen is you're going to end up paying these guys probably about $8,000 to $10,000 worth of this $30,000 to $50,000 fee. And then you're going to start swimming in lawsuits that the magic beanstalk letters didn't get rid of. And then you're going to have zero money to negotiate anything with the creditors that are suing you because magic beanstalk guy took all your money.
Well, and the other thing too is,
don't fall for the magic beanstalk.
Yeah, the other thing too that happens that always makes me shake my head is the debt relief company will say, well, I'm sorry, your creditor didn't agree to the letter, didn't honor it or whatever. We're going to just, we're going to drop this account from your program. How does that help me?
Well, they'll say that you could get a pro rata refund for that one account and they're just going to drop it out of there.
Yeah.
But good luck collecting on that. And then here's how this scam actually works. This what is that shell game that they do? I don't even know what you call it. On the street but the way this works is that's kind of how they get out of it. The reality is these companies know that not every creditor you have is going to sue you. Now, I mean, unless you're the most unlucky guy on the planet, you're not, like, if you have 10 credit cards, you're not going to get sued by all 10 of them. Now, you might get sued by none of them, which is unlikely. You could get 1 or 2 lawsuits. You could get 4 or 5, but they're just playing the odds. The magic beanstalk letters aren't doing anything. In fact, honestly, I don't really think they even send them. If they were smart, they wouldn't send them, because if they send those letters, the bank's more likely to sue you. So if they were smart, they would just tell you they're sending, and they're not. But let's say you get sued on 2 or 3 of your 10 accounts and they just go, oh, yeah, the bank didn't validate it correctly, but, it's with an attorney now, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to take that out of the program. We'll give you a pro rata refund. That's 10% refund, because 1 out of 10 cards or whatever. And then you don't get sued on 7 of those cards. They still make 70% of that $30,000 fee, making you think they did something. And the reason you didn't get sued was because the magic beanstalk letters. But the reality is the reason you didn't get sued is
just
because you got lucky. Your number wasn't drawn on that account. And the other thing, depending on what state you're in, could be anywhere from 3 to I think one state's up to 10 years unless they've changed that recently. They have 3 to 10 years to come after you. So long after you've paid Magic Beanstalk Guy,
They can
you
come
could
back.
still be on the hook for this debt. Yeah, and then Magic Beanstalk Guy is gone.
Yeah, and in some states, you cannot actually be sued or have your wages garnished. So what's the point?
Yeah, if you live in Texas, they have unlimited
Pennsylvania,
homestead exemptions.
Pennsylvania, North Carolina.
Pennsylvania, there's no wage garnishment.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean you can, to your creditors, be
Right.
like, I live in Texas,
No.
because there's other things that they can do, levying bank accounts, and they could put a, no, I don't know if they could put a lien on, they'd never be able to collect on the lien on the house in Texas and Florida, but they can in Pennsylvania. So there are some states where it's harder to collect money from you, but there's no state where you can just give your creditor the middle finger and not ever have to worry about anything happening. That would be called moving to Belize.
Yeah.
If you move to Belize, then you could probably give them the middle finger. But if you're still within the 50 states, you still have to address it somehow.
Now, the other twist to this scheme is that it will be pitched to you as this is a lawyer-based program.
Oh, geez.
But when you press them because you cannot have a lawyer represent you unless that lawyer is licensed or authorized to practice law in the state that you live in. So when you push them on, who is the lawyer in my state that is actually representing me, you will get a whole host of responses. And you will not be able to talk to that person because either it's a made-up name, they just found them on Facebook, or it was a sales pitch to begin with and they don't exist. So you are not being represented by an attorney, although an attorney may be part of whatever that program is.
Yeah. And then you can ask, well, why do I need a lawyer? You just spent half an hour telling me how great your program is, and you have great relationships with all these banks, and you do business with them all the time, and they're going to be more than happy to roll over and settle my debt for pennies on the dollar. Why do I need a lawyer? Well, that's only in case you get sued, but don't worry, nobody ever gets sued.
Yeah, and if you do get sued, we're going to drop you, so Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and if you do get sued, well, we're just going to try to settle that. What's the lawyer going to do? You borrowed the money.
Yeah, right.
That's always my favorite, right? I mean, you did borrow the money. You bought stuff on the credit card. What's the lawyer going to argue in front of the judge if there was even a lawyer that was going to go to court and represent you? Which in most cases, there's not.
Or there will be an additional fee for that.
There's always an additional fee.
Right.
That's extra.
All right. I have a bunch here, but I have one more before I want to wrap this up. It is the secret loophole insider hack. We kind of talked about this before, but here's what it'll sound like. You may hear someone say, tell the bank this exact phrase. This goes with the whole validation thing, kind of. And then they have to erase the debt. Or they'll say, use this code word when you call the credit bureaus, and they must delete your account. Or, you know what? We have a little known program only insiders know about. And if you hear that, if they can't tell you what it is, that's a warning sign. That is a giant red flag.
Steve, you've been around longer than I have.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's crazy, and I get it as a consumer, you see this stuff maybe for the first time, and it, brand new way, little known secret, this, that, and the other, new Trump, debt relief program. And it's like, I've been seeing the same crap for 20 years. You've been seeing the same crap for 30 plus years.
It goes back even further. So I am a big studier of the history of debt relief. And this didn't happen when I started in the 90s. If you look at the history of debt relief, this goes all the way back to the early 1940s, when the very first prorators came out, where they said, we will take over your bills and you only have to pay us one monthly fee every month. That's when it started, and that's when regulators tried to crack down on it. And ever since then, it's just been whack-a-mole.
Yeah, but it's just, I look at this stuff and laugh. Like I said, when I saw Mario Lopez pop up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
my God.
Is Zach Morris next? Like, what are we doing here? But he's just an actor. He's reading the script. He's supposedly interviewing a financial consultant, and they were very adamant to say, and you recently appeared on Oprah.
Right.
I guess that's the big, well, if you're on Oprah, then obviously, and then she goes, and then the whole ad was about, well, I solve people's debt with 2 secret words. And Mario's like, oh, what are those words? I'll tell you, Mario, debt negotiation. It's just debt settlement. I mean, people have been settling debt for 50 years, but, well, longer than that. But it's the new secret program. It's like, shut up.
It is not a secret program. All right. Hey,
Yeah, it's just debt settlement. You call the number, you get a sales guy for debt settlement. They're going to pitch you on what are your payments. I'm going to lower them. That's going to be another video, but it's so BS, it's ridiculous. And it's really easy to see right through it once you understand how it actually works. But the main takeaway needs to be, you see all these ads, call them all if you want to, take notes, get the information, and then call me and we'll review it. And then you'll realize, oh, yeah, I don't want to do any of that stuff.
All right. So let me give you a rundown and watch your phone, your feed, or whatever you're getting your media on for these things. And you'll go, oh, yeah, Stephen Damon talked about that. So if you see, if you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, stop scrolling, click here. That's just the emotional button and the fear trigger to try to get you to click. I used to work for a major bank. I know all the secrets, right? Insider authority, trying to make you think they have some sort of secret.
They're like a bank teller out of college or something. I got the insider secrets. I work the register.
My clients are wiping out 80% of what they owe. That's just a big promise, not based on anything. All right, here is a 10-second gut checklist that I made up for people. And let's see, I've got 10 items on it. So Damon, you can pitch in on any of these 10 and let me know what you think. Before you click or sign or give any information, if they're promising a specific percentage of debt reduction before seeing your accounts and learning your situation, what should you do, Damon?
Hang up the phone.
Okay.
I would say click, but the younger generation doesn't know what that means.
Yeah.
There's no actual click anymore. Yeah.
Okay, if they're leaning on
just hang up.
If they're leaning on government logos or buzzwords instead of explaining their program, in the recent past we've seen a lot of this around student loans. Secret government, Department of Education logos and stuff like that. And if they can't explain exactly how this works, Damon, what should they do?
Hopefully you don't even get to that point, because any ad you see in the mail, in digital form, whatever, anything that has government logo, government this, Trump that, whatever, don't even waste your time with that. That's it. I don't want to call it an outright scam. At minimum, they're misleading you to get you to call. There's no government program that's going to get rid of your credit card debt. None. Doesn't exist.
If they offer, you have to act today only, this is the only chance you're going to get for this program, you should run away. All right.
But I would ask, what if I want to act tomorrow and see what they say?
Yeah, why can't I talk to a friend?
Can I act tomorrow?
Well,
can I act tomorrow? This is Regis Philbin here. I'm here with John. He's going for $100,000 in debt relief, and he thinks you can help.
Well, and here's the reality is I can't think of a single time where the person didn't act today. And then I've heard you say this. You've told me stories about this.
It's my favorite thing to say.
Yeah. And then you go, well, okay, we'll call them back tomorrow. See if they'll say, no, I can't help you.
Yeah. So usually in that context, usually is when I'm talking to a client that goes, you know what, I signed up for this company, last week or a month ago, and then I came across your website, or I heard your podcast and I realized, oh shoot, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then we start talking about the situation and I realize, yeah, maybe there are some better options and I need to take a step back. And I always tell them, it's like, look, when is the first charge, right? Are they going to charge? Because once they get your money, it's hard to get it back. So if you can, and usually when you sign that contract, there's usually a period before they draft your first payment, thankfully. Could be a week, could be 3 weeks. Oh, November 30th, they're drafting my payment. Okay, call them up and cancel. And even if we're not sure we're going to cancel yet, the best thing to do is just call them up, send a notification, hey, I'm going to cancel this. That way you bought yourself some breathing room.
Mhm.
We can figure it all out. If we get it all figured out and after we have a strategy, you still want to hire them, very unlikely, but just in case, it's better to cancel it now as you keep your money.
Take a breath.
And then a month from now, 3 weeks from now, whenever, I promise you, if you called that guy back or gal back and said, I know I didn't think this was the right thing, but I've thought about it and I've kind of circled back to it. I really do want to enroll. Never once in the history of the world has a debt relief salesperson gone, nah, I told you.
No.
If you quit us, you can't ever come back.
No.
They will welcome you with open arms, commission back. Christmas is on, right?
A sale's a
so
sale.
You don't have to worry about that. You can get started anytime you want, even if you've already started. You need to cancel to gather your thoughts and make sure before you make a $100,000 mistake. And then you can go back to them later and they will be more than happy to take your money. I promise.
All right, Damon, here's the last one I wanted to cover.
I'm the nice one. The nice one.
Here's the last one I wanted to cover. We talked about it briefly before, but if you ask them for the client agreement in writing and they won't give it to you, run.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of them will. And then you get the I call them the turd nuggets. There's a lot of turd nuggets in that contract. But especially the ones that won't, then there's definitely an issue. Just hang up the phone, stop wasting your time. But the ones that do give you the client agreement, give me a call, shoot it over to me. We'll go through it. I'll show you all the turd nuggets.
All right, Damon, I think we could have done 3 shows out of all the notes that I had, but I think we basically covered it all. So what is your closing message for this topic?
If Mario shows up on the ad after this, we're not endorsing it.
No.
The closing message is, I don't want to say 100%, but I feel like I should say 100%. Of all of the ads you see promising debt relief are going to be leading you to something that's not likely a good strategy for your situation.
Including
even
nonprofit credit counseling.
Yeah, nonprofit doesn't mean non-revenue.
Right.
And I know that sounds completely biased. It sounds pessimistic. But, after 20 years of seeing the same bullshit, it's just like, well, what do you want from me? Right? It's just, you see all these ads. Just don't call these. You call the ads all you want. Gather all the information you want. But don't act on any of the stuff until you 100% feel confident that you know what you're getting yourself into. And if you don't feel confident that you know what you're getting yourself into based on all those conversations, I'm only a phone call away. Go to my website, fill out a request form. You'll be on the phone with me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And you might come away from that call going, well, Damon's just full of BS also. Not likely.
No.
But what you'll probably come away with the call going, oh, I'm glad he pointed out all those turd nuggets. I didn't see it in the fine print, or I didn't realize, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Now that Damon's explained it, I see what they're doing. Oh, I'm still okay with that? Not likely. Probably you're going to say, oh, I'm glad I figured that out before I signed that contract. Now I can take a step back and look at all my other options that the salesperson didn't. There it is. The secrets the salespeople don't want you to know.
And the funny thing about this, Damon, is that over the years we've known each other, in all the writing that I did on getoutofdebt.org, and the number of times that I've had an insider write to me and say, oh my God, you don't even know the worst of it.
Oh, we got those all the time. See, we get those emails about somebody that worked at a debt settlement company and finally got out because they couldn't even sleep at night from what they were seeing in there. Because most of these people, they're good people. They just get hired. They're doing a job. They go through the training. They're told this information. They don't have a background. The salespeople don't have a background in this stuff. Honestly, most of them genuinely feel like they're helping because they don't know what's going on. They're not doing any negotiating or anything. They're just telling you what they were told to tell you and how great that program is. So they genuinely, I think, are good people, most of them, and are looking at your situation and going, oh, how can I help this lady? Or how can I help this guy? How can I help this family? So I don't think this, all these nefarious salespeople out there just trying to steal money from you, but ignorance on fire is still ignorance.
That's right. One of the examples I remember is the insider that said that they could not leave the office until they'd met their daily quota, and the company provided cots.
I remember that one. You can sleep on the cot until you make your. So imagine somebody in a scenario like that, or even not quite that bad. They also may have a family. They've got bills.
Yeah.
They've got rent. They even if they had some background, they look at your situation and go, "Oh man, this guy, he really should be filing bankruptcy. Our program is not a good program. It's just going to cost him $5,000 before he probably eventually goes bankrupt anyway, because he's not going to be able to afford these payments forever. And he's on a fixed income, but I'm going to have to sleep on the cot if I don't get this guy to say yes." Is that the guy you want giving you advice?
or question, we've had debt relief people come and say to us, "You guys are idiots. You don't know what you're talking about." Okay, so let me get this straight. Your program is going to take, let's call it 5 years. It's not going to be successful with all the creditors, and it's going to cost the client like 30 grand, and they're potentially going to get sued along the way. And you've told them that bankruptcy is immoral, it's unethical, and they shouldn't do it, but they're going to eliminate their debt in 120 days, and it's going to cost them like 2 grand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and don't get me wrong, there are times where settlement can make a lot of sense and bankruptcy won't work or whatever. But the point is, the sales guys will never go over that with you. They will sell every single person that calls on that program, and they will try to make your situation, your problem fit into their program rather than reverse engineering it and saying, okay, what's the best solution for your problem? Right. So they start out with the wrong premise, which is, okay, you're in debt, you have to get into our program. And that's the biggest problem with the entire debt relief industry. It's trying to shove your problem into their makeshift program rather than designing a strategy for you specifically.
All right, Damon, until next time, I will see you.
Peace.